The morning sun spread its warm light over the peaceful human colony of Arden. Children played in the streets while traders shouted their daily greetings. The air was filled with laughter and the smell of fresh bread. No one could imagine that in a few hours, their world would change forever. In the grand palace at the center of the colony, Princess Alara walked through the garden. Her golden hair shone in the sunlight, and her eyes sparkled with curiosity. She paused to watch the birds dance in the sky, unaware of the danger creeping closer. Her protector, Commander Rylan, stood nearby, his hand resting lightly on the hilt of his sword. He had trained all his life to protect her, and he never let his guard down. Suddenly, a shadow fell over the palace walls. The sky darkened as massive alien ships appeared, moving with terrifying speed. The ground shook as the first bomb struck the colony outskirts. Screams filled the air as people ran for cover. Rylan grabbed the princess and pulled her behind the marble columns of the palace. The alien creatures were unlike anything humans had seen. Tall and armored, with glowing eyes and claws that could tear steel. They moved with precision and intelligence, clearly hunting something, or someone. Rylan's heart pounded as he realized the aliens were heading straight for the princess. He drew his sword, the blade shining with a faint blue energy. He knew this fight would not be easy, but he had no choice. The first alien broke through the palace gates. Rylan swung his sword, striking it down with a powerful blow. More aliens followed, climbing walls and breaking through windows. The princess clutched Rylan's arm, fear written all over her face. Rylan shouted, "Stay behind me. I will protect you." He fought with all his strength, moving faster than any human should. His sword cut through alien armor as if it were paper. But the aliens were relentless, and more kept coming. Rylan's muscles ached, and his chest burned from the effort. He knew he could not hold them off forever. Then, an alien with black armor and a glowing red core appeared. It moved faster than the others, its eyes fixed on the princess. Rylan realized this must be the leader, or at least a very dangerous scout. Without hesitation, he pushed the princess to the ground. He stepped in front of her, raising his sword to face the alien. The alien attacked with a speed that made Rylan's head spin. He blocked and dodged, but the creature's strength was immense. Every strike shook the ground, sending dust and debris flying. The princess watched, terrified, as Rylan fought alone. He blocked a final strike and, with all his might, slammed the alien to the ground. But then the alien's claw pierced Rylan's side. He fell to his knees, the pain searing through his body. The princess screamed, rushing to his side. Rylan whispered, "Alara, run, save yourself, don't look back." Tears filled her eyes, but she knew she had to obey. As she ran through the palace corridors, she looked back and saw the alien standing over Rylan. He was wounded, but his sword still glowed, ready to fight. The alien paused, studying him for a moment, and then slowly retreated. Rylan's breath came in heavy gasps as he watched the princess disappear into the city. He knew this was only the beginning. That night, the colony burned, and the screams echoed under the alien ships. Rylan crawled to the palace gate and looked at the dark sky. He felt anger and fear, but also a strange sense of determination. Somehow, he had survived, and now he had a new mission. The alien queen had noticed him, and she would not rest until he was dead. Rylan knew he could not fight alone. He had to warn the humans, gather allies, and prepare for what was coming. The princess was safe for now, but he could feel the shadow of the alien queen reaching closer. And somewhere deep inside, he knew the next attack would be worse. Much worse. He rose to his feet, gripping his sword tightly. "I will protect her, no matter what," he whispered. The sky was full of stars now, but the darkness of the alien threat hung over them all. And Rylan's heart burned with a promise that humans would fight back. That they would not be defeated. The first battle was over, but the war had only just begun. Rylan woke up to the quiet hum of machines. The bright lights above his bed made his eyes ache. He tried to move, but a sharp pain shot through his side. Someone gently held his arm. "Take it easy, you've been badly hurt," a calm voice said. He turned his head and saw Dr. Celine, the colony's chief medic. Her face was calm but her eyes showed worry. "Where, Princess Alara?" Rylan asked, his voice weak. "She is safe," Dr. Celine replied. "We got her out of the city before the aliens returned." Rylan closed his eyes for a moment, relief flooding him. But he knew the peace would not last. Dr. Celine helped him sit up. "You need to understand, Commander, the aliens are not ordinary invaders. They are organized, intelligent, and they are looking for something, or someone." Rylan's mind raced. "They are after me, because I protected the princess?" Dr. Celine nodded slowly. "Yes, they called her, the Light, and they will stop at nothing to capture her." The room shook suddenly as distant alarms rang. Rylan jumped to his feet, gripping his sword instinctively. "Calm down," Dr. Celine said, "it's just a scout ship passing nearby, they are observing us." Rylan clenched his jaw, anger burning in him. "They are watching, waiting, calculating." "Yes," Dr. Celine said, "and we have only one chance to prepare." He walked through the hidden base, his eyes scanning every corner. Humans were working frantically, repairing old machines and building new weapons. Rylan felt a spark of hope, seeing that humans were not weak. They might be smaller and slower than the aliens, but their courage and brains were unmatched. An officer approached, holding a small device. "Commander, we've decoded part of the alien communication." Rylan took it, studying the symbols and sounds, trying to understand. "They are not just attacking," the officer explained, "they are searching for a human who can resist their control, someone powerful, someone brave." Rylan's heart pounded. "They mean me," he said quietly. The officer nodded. "Yes, you've become a symbol, Commander. Humans never give up, and they hate that." Dr. Celine took him to a room filled with holograms, showing maps and alien movements. "The alien queen has sent scouts all over the colony," she said, pointing at blinking dots. "We need to train, plan, and prepare for her arrival." Rylan studied the maps, his mind already forming strategies. He knew brute force would not win this battle, humans had to be clever. Days passed, and Rylan trained harder than ever. He practiced sword fights against holographic aliens. He learned to predict their movements, their strength, and weaknesses. He even experimented with small machines, creating traps and gadgets. The humans around him marveled at his determination. He was more than a soldier now, he was a strategist, a symbol, a leader. Meanwhile, Princess Alara discovered something strange. In the safety of a hidden garden, she found a small crystal glowing faintly. When she touched it, visions appeared, alien ships, mysterious symbols, and sometimes, Rylan fighting alone. She realized the crystal was showing her events that were happening in real time. It was as if the universe was trying to warn her, guide her. She clutched the crystal tightly, knowing it would help her and Rylan. One night, Rylan stood outside the base, staring at the stars. He remembered the city burning, the screams, and the alien with the red core. He felt fear, yes, but also determination. Humans might be small, weak, and fragile, but they were brave, clever, and stubborn. That stubbornness was their greatest weapon. And he would use it to protect the princess, no matter the cost. Suddenly, the alarms blared again, more urgent this time. An alien scout ship was approaching fast, its engines glowing red. Rylan grabbed his sword and ran to the command center. The humans scrambled to defend the base, activating shields and traps. Rylan's heart pounded, but his mind was sharp. He gave orders with confidence, every move calculated, every risk considered. The alien scout landed with a crash, and creatures poured out. Rylan fought with precision, every strike cutting through alien armor. But then he noticed something strange, the aliens were hesitant, almost fearful. He realized the scouts had never encountered a human like him before. They were strong, but they were not ready for human courage and ingenuity. After the fight, Rylan wiped the blood from his sword and looked at the sky. "The alien queen will come," he whispered, "but when she does, we will be ready." Princess Alara, watching from her hidden garden, touched her crystal, feeling the same determination. Together, even apart, they knew humans would fight. They would resist, survive, and rise. And the alien queen would soon learn that humans were not easy prey. The hidden human base was quiet under the moonlight. Rylan paced along the perimeter, his sword in hand. Every shadow felt like a threat, every rustle a warning. He had prepared for this moment, but still, a cold fear ran through him. Tonight, he would face a part of the alien force he had never seen before. Suddenly, the sky split open with a loud crack. A massive alien ship descended, its hull glimmering like black crystal. The humans gasped and scrambled to the command center. Rylan's heart tightened. This was no ordinary scout, this was something far greater. From the ship, a figure emerged, tall, regal, and terrifying. Her armor shimmered with energy, her eyes glowed with red fire. It was the alien queen, the one who had sent the scouts, the one hunting him specifically. Rylan stepped forward, sword raised, muscles tense. "Commander Rylan," the queen's voice echoed in his mind, deep and powerful. "You protected the princess, you dared to defy me." Her words were not spoken aloud, but they filled his ears and chest. He could feel her presence, a force that tried to crush his will. But he did not falter, his grip tightened on the sword. The queen raised her hand, and a wave of energy shot toward him. Rylan barely dodged, rolling to the side. The ground cracked where the energy hit, smoke rising in spirals. He swung his sword, aiming for her core. But the queen moved faster than anything he had ever seen. Her shadow danced across the battlefield, untouchable, unstoppable. He realized this was a test, not a fight. The queen wanted to see how far a human could go. Rylan smiled, despite the danger. They had always underestimated humans, their strength, their courage, their stubbornness. And tonight, he would show her what humans could do. He drew a small device from his belt, a gadget he had created during training. It emitted a bright pulse, disrupting alien energy fields. The queen stumbled slightly, and Rylan seized the chance. He attacked with speed, precision, and strategy, every strike calculated. She blocked and countered, but he kept moving, using traps and the terrain to his advantage. Meanwhile, Princess Alara watched from the hidden garden, her crystal glowing. She saw visions of Rylan fighting the queen, feeling his courage and cleverness. Her heart raced, but she realized she could help, too. She focused on the crystal, sending energy toward him. The pulse amplified Rylan's device, giving him strength, speed, and clarity. He felt the queen's power weaken slightly, and hope surged in his chest. The battle raged for what felt like hours. Rylan dodged, blocked, and struck, always thinking, always planning. The queen's attacks were fierce, but human determination was fiercer. For every blow she landed, Rylan adapted, learning, evolving, surviving. It was not just strength that mattered, it was intelligence, courage, and creativity. Human traits the queen had never truly understood. Finally, Rylan saw an opening, a small gap in her armor where her energy core pulsed faintly. He leapt, spinning, and struck with all his force. The queen stumbled back, a flash of red fire exploding around her. She raised her hand again, but Rylan was ready, his sword charged with the crystal's energy. He cut through her shield and grazed her armor. The queen froze, studying him with an expression that was almost curiosity. Rylan did not attack again, he held his stance, breathing hard, eyes locked on her. "You see," he said calmly, "humans are not weak, and we do not give up." The queen tilted her head, as if acknowledging his words. Then, without warning, she vanished, leaving behind a swirl of black smoke and silence. Rylan fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. The humans cheered, but he knew this was only the beginning. Princess Alara approached him later that night, her crystal still glowing. "You were amazing," she whispered, "I never doubted you for a second." Rylan smiled, though his body ached. "We survived today, but the Queen will return, and next time, she will be stronger." Alara nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "And we will be ready," she said, "together." Rylan looked up at the stars, thinking of the humans who had fought, the scientists, the soldiers, the civilians. All of them, small and fragile, yet brave, clever, and stubborn. The alien queen had underestimated them, underestimated humans. And that would be her greatest mistake. For humans did not surrender, humans did not fear, humans fought against impossible odds. And tonight, they had shown a glimpse of their strength. The first encounter with the alien queen was over, but the war had only grown more dangerous. Rylan tightened his sword and whispered to himself. "I will protect her, no matter what." And somewhere, far across the stars, the queen plotted her return. Unaware that humans were ready to fight, ready to resist, ready to rise. The hidden base was unusually quiet that morning. Rylan paced back and forth, sensing something was wrong. The human soldiers were tense, their eyes scanning the skies. Even the engineers and scientists moved faster than usual, checking every machine. Rylan knew the alien queen was clever, more clever than any enemy he had faced. Suddenly, alarms blared across the base, red lights flashing. A voice shouted, "We've been detected. Multiple ships approaching." Rylan drew his sword and ran to the command center. The humans scrambled to activate defense systems and shield generators. But deep down, Rylan felt the fear that comes before a trap. This was not just an attack, this was planned, deliberate, and deadly. Outside the base, the alien ships hovered silently. Then, without warning, they dropped energy nets over the human defenses. Shields flared, sparks flew, but the nets cut through the perimeter. Soldiers shouted, trying to escape, but many were captured instantly. Rylan fought through the chaos, swinging his sword and guiding humans to safety. But everywhere he looked, the alien queen's strategy was working, trapping them, dividing them, breaking them. He realized with a sinking heart that the princess was missing. Panic surged, but he could not show it, not now. "Find her," he shouted, moving through the smoke and debris. He leapt over fallen structures and ducked under beams. Every step he took was dangerous, but he would not stop. Humans had survived impossible odds before, and he would not let them fail now. Princess Alara, hidden in a cage aboard one of the alien ships, clutched her crystal. Its glow pulsed faster as if sensing the danger around her. She could hear the queen's voice in her mind, mocking, testing, taunting. "You are clever, little human, but cleverness alone cannot save you." Alara's heart pounded, but she refused to give in. She focused on the crystal, sending pulses of energy, hoping Rylan could feel them. Somehow, across the chaos, he did, and it guided him toward her. Rylan fought his way through the alien soldiers, using every trick he had learned. Energy pulses from his devices disrupted the aliens' shields. His sword cut through armored limbs with precision. The humans following him began to fight with renewed courage, inspired by his bravery. Together, they became a storm of cleverness and determination. Every human knew they were weaker physically, but they were smart, fast, and fearless. Meanwhile, the alien queen observed from her ship, smiling. She had expected fear, surrender, and weakness. But humans were proving her assumptions wrong. And that surprised her, intrigued her, and angered her all at once. She raised her hand, sending a wave of energy across the battlefield. It slammed into the humans, throwing them back, crushing their defenses. Rylan gritted his teeth, feeling the force, but he refused to yield. He finally reached the ship holding the princess. Alien guards surrounded the cage, their claws flashing in the dim light. Rylan drew his device and sword, combining both. He created a pulse that shattered the guard's formation. Then, with one swift motion, he cut the cage open. Elara stepped out, her crystal glowing like a beacon. Together, they fought back to back, unstoppable in their determination. As they escaped the ship, Rylan realized the Queen's real plan was revealed. She wanted to divide the humans, force them into fear, and test their loyalty. But instead, humans were proving that courage and unity were stronger than any trap. Elara and Rylan reached the base gates, rallying the survivors. They fought as one, humans clever, humans brave, humans refusing to bow. For every alien strike, there was a counterstrike, a clever device, a daring move. The trap had failed, not because the humans were stronger, but because they were clever and unyielding. That night, the base was quiet again, but not peaceful. Rylan tended to the wounded, his body sore, his heart heavy. Elara stood beside him, holding the crystal, her eyes serious. "You were amazing today," she said softly, "but the Queen will not give up." Rylan nodded, "I know, this was only the beginning, and next time, her plan will be more dangerous." He looked at the horizon, at the stars glowing faintly above. Humans had survived the trap, but the war was far from over. The alien Queen had learned, and so had they. Rylan's voice was calm but firm, "We fight, not because we are the strongest. But because humans never surrender, never give up, never stop thinking. She may have traps, soldiers, and ships, but we have courage, intelligence, and unity. And that is something no alien can break." Elara touched his arm, and for a moment, they felt hope. The Queen would return, yes, but humans were ready, learning, evolving. The trap had tried to break them, but instead, it had shown their strength. And somewhere, deep in the void, the alien Queen watched. Plotting her next move, unaware that humans had learned from her every tactic. Her next attack would be stronger, faster, deadlier. But humans were ready, and when the next trap fell, they would rise again. Because humans did not surrender, humans did not fear, humans never gave up. And that was the greatest weapon against the darkness she commanded. The stars shone faintly over the human base, but the silence was heavy. Rylan stood at the edge of the cliff overlooking the landing zone. His sword gleamed faintly under the moonlight, and his eyes were sharp. The alien Queen had returned, bigger, stronger, and angrier than ever. She had studied the humans, learned their tricks, and prepared for a fight unlike any before. Princess Elara stood beside him, her crystal glowing brightly. "I can help," she said, "together, we can do this." Rylan nodded, feeling a surge of determination. They were no longer just a warrior and a princess. They were humans united, clever, brave, and unbroken. And tonight, that would make all the difference. The ground trembled as the Queen's massive ship landed. Aliens poured out, armored, swift, and ready. Rylan and the humans had prepared every trap, every gadget, every clever defense they could. They knew strength alone could not win this battle. Strategy, teamwork, and human courage would decide the outcome. The first wave of aliens charged, and humans met them with a storm of ingenuity. Rylan led the charge, dodging claws and energy blasts. He swung his sword with skill and precision, cutting through the armor. The humans around him fought bravely, using every tool and device they had created. No alien attack was unchallenged, no movement uncalculated. They fought with the stubborn courage that made them human. From above, the alien Queen watched, her red eyes glowing like fire. She landed, her steps shaking the earth, and raised her hand. Energy waves burst outward, knocking humans off their feet. Rylan struggled, but he saw the opening he had been waiting for. The Queen's armor pulsed at a single weak point, faint but real. He whispered to Elara, "We do this together." She nodded, focusing her crystal, sending a pulse of energy that amplified his sword. Rylan ran forward, leaping with every ounce of strength. The Queen swung her arm, sending waves of energy. But he dodged, guided by instinct and human determination. With one precise strike, he cut through her shield, hitting her armor. The queen froze, surprised by the audacity, the speed, and the cleverness. She had underestimated humans, underestimated them all. Elara sent another pulse from her crystal, weakening the queen's energy. Humans rallied around Rylan, striking and sabotaging the alien forces. The queen tried to fight back, but every movement was countered by human cleverness. They used traps, gadgets, and coordination to slow her. Her anger grew, her power surged, but humans refused to surrender. Every strike, every clever move, every act of courage reminded her of their strength. Finally, Rylan found his moment, a narrow opening in the queen's defense. He leapt high, sword glowing from Elara's crystal, and struck with all his might. The queen stumbled, her red eyes flashing with fury. But she could not recover fast enough, her energy faltering. Humans cheered, their courage unbroken, their spirit unyielding. The queen let out a roar of rage and vanished into a swirl of black smoke. Her massive ship retreated, leaving the battlefield in silence. Rylan fell to his knees, exhausted but victorious. Elara ran to him, embracing him tightly, the crystal glowing softly. "We did it," she whispered, tears of relief in her eyes. Rylan smiled weakly, "No, we did it together." Around them, humans tended to the wounded and repaired what they could. The colony was damaged, but hope burned brighter than ever. That night, the humans celebrated quietly. They knew the war was not fully over, but they had proven something important. Humans could fight, survive, and outsmart even the deadliest alien threat. They were small, fragile, and ordinary, but they were clever, brave, and united. Rylan looked up at the stars, thinking of all the humans who had helped. All the sacrifices, the courage, the determination, it was what made them strong. Princess Elara touched his arm, holding the crystal. "Rylan, they will come again, won't they?" she asked softly. "Yes," he replied, "but we will be ready, smarter, braver, stronger." The humans had survived the trap, faced the queen, and shown that courage and intelligence could overcome even the greatest power. And that was the essence of being human. No matter how powerful the enemy, humans would fight, resist, and rise. Rylan raised his sword, pointing it at the sky. "For every alien that comes, for every threat we face, humans will never give up," he declared. The humans around him cheered, their hearts full of hope. The alien queen might return, but she would always face humans who refused to surrender. And that was something no alien, no force, no power could ever take away. The first battle was won, the war was not over, but the humans had made their mark. They had survived the darkness and proven that courage, intelligence, and unity were their greatest weapons. Rylan and Elara stood together, looking at the horizon, ready for whatever came next. Because humans fought, humans survived, and humans never, ever gave up.